I'm Mike.
I'm Jason.
This is Snake Envy. So before we dive into some hatchlings, and we're also going to do a handling session with our wild-caught Great Basin gopher that we've been working with. Feeding tip. Now, we have tried in the past, just to give some of your snakes randomly, some REPTILINKS. And for those of you who are not familiar, let's each take one here. This is a REPTILINK, and looks like a little sausage link. It's even tied off on both ends. It's a beef casing. Inside these is rabbit, quail, and quail eggs, all ground together. But we haven't really talked about these a lot. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video. This is just something we see a lot of questions and curiosity about. So we're going to talk about them. But REPTILINKS doesn't know we're doing this, and they have not provided us with anything in doing this. What have you kind of heard, or what objections do you hear, or just in whatever small sense you may have looked into these, what do you feel like are some of the drawbacks or hesitations?
From what I noticed was the pricing. That was the first thing.
That's a good one. The appearance is that these are expensive compared to buying mice. Now this link is supposed to represent an adult mouse, like a medium-sized mouse. Obviously smaller than what the whole prey item would be.
But does it weigh, like that's...
Here's the key when you're comparing price. So yes, as Jason says, you'll go to the website and you'll have a little sticker shock because you'll say, well, gee, I'm getting mice for less than that. Here's what's interesting about these. They remove the lower intestines of the animals, so you have no feces, you have nothing like that in here. A lot of the water weight is gone. When this feels denser than a mouse.
Yeah.
When you and I a couple weeks ago were showing people different prey items and how we could literally squish a mouse between our fingers and feel the spine.
Probably feels similar to this.
This is a little denser and a little, all that kind of empty squishiness that's inside that mouse is gone. A lot of the empty water weight gone. That's a pretty good meal then, really. Yes, so it's all the good stuff. Now, why am I explaining all that, talking about price? If you were to compare a REPTILINK to a mouse, like calorie for calorie, or, by the ounce, these are actually cheaper. So in some cases, particularly with smaller species, you might be able to feed every other week instead of weekly because this is much more calorie dense. So when you factor that in, these are actually cheaper. Or if you're normally feeding large mice, you might be able to feed the link that's equivalent to a medium mouse because now in terms of its value, it's like the bigger prey item even though it's the smaller one. And so that's where the price actually works out a little favorable to whole prey. Have you heard about the scientific studies about ground and cooked prey that they've fed to pythons?
I haven't paid attention.
This is what the science behind these is based on. This is where they got the idea, and I think they have one of the studies on their website. But it's actually really interesting when you read it. They took pythons, they ground prey and fed it to them. They also cooked prey and fed it to them. And what they found is just like with us, it was easier to digest when it's ground or cooked. The digestion was more complete, and the nutritional uptake was better. So they took blood samples of snakes prior to being on a ground and cooked diet, and then after. And they found out that they were healthier. They were taking in more of the nutrition. And that it just seems like common sense when you think about it.
I mean, there's no fur on this.
Yeah, they leave a little fur. Fur kind of acts like fiber.
Yeah, okay.
And keeps things moving. But, yes, they remove most of it.
Okay.
So all the invaluable stuff is gone.
Yeah.
And all the nutritional density and calorie density is there. Plus, think about it. A snake like a gopher snake or a king snake that ordinarily wouldn't be big enough to eat rabbits is eating rabbit.
Yeah.
And rabbit is much more calorie and nutritional dense than a mouse. So you get that advantage as well. Two things I love about these. One, I can combine prey. So I love varied diets. I know you like varied diets. This is 3 prey items in one meal.
Yeah.
And if you have lizards or omnivorous prey that has to eat greens and insects or meat and greens, they can put all that together in a link as well. So like people with bearded dragons, the complaint you always hear is that he loves his insects, but I can't get him to eat his greens.
Yeah.
So now you put it all in one.
That's cool.
And the bearded dragon devours it. Everything's good. So not just for snakes, for any reptiles, and they do everything from insects to greens to whole prey like this. I believe they even still do venison. When I first started using REPTILINKS, it was venison, which is deer, for those that don't know. So the cool thing is that even a neo, so in addition to multiple prey in one link, if you get this in a little micro link for neos, neos are eating rabbits, adult quail, adult, whatever.
The first thing I think of is like when you do that is like, because pinkies don't have their bones are still forming. Like there's calcium and would be calcium, more nutrition in a link. It may be very beneficial.
Highly. So your neos are getting a jump start because they're eating adult prey when they're not big enough yet to eat it. And even your adult snakes are eating something like a rabbit that for most species, they're not big enough to eat. And so all of our snakes would love to eat rabbit if they could, but they can't. Now they can. So those are the two things. You've got tons of variety that you can mix into these all in one meal. And then second, adult prey for neos and larger prey potentially than a snake would normally be able to eat. Now for you, what's really cool, they do things like iguana. So if you're breeding gray-banded kings or these other snakes that are kind of wired to eat reptiles, they do REPTILINKS, where you can actually feed, like a king snake, for example. Any species of king snake will eat lizards and love it. So if you do have that finicky snake that's hard to get going on rodents, or that you just prefer to feed snakes more of their natural diet, you can do that here. The other cool thing they do from a breeder's perspective, when they grind iguana, they keep the juices. And they sell it in little dropper bottles.
Yeah.
And you keep that in your freezer.
I remember the lizard scenting from way back in the day.
Yeah.
It did work. I remember. It didn't always work. But
no.
Nothing ever always works.
No.
So.
But imagine just being able to put a couple drops on a pinky, and now the pinky has that lizard smell when you're trying to get.
It's just another tool.
So it's just another tool in the tool belt where you can buy the liquids left over from the grinds to kind of scent prey when you're getting neos started. So hopefully that's helpful. If you've had questions or you're hearing some of the, there's no way that a snake's going to eat this, I can attest, they do. Jason can attest, they do. Now, some species take to these like anything else, particularly if they're tongue-fed. Just about anything you give them.
Calking.
Yeah.
Eat your arm if you put
anything
it
at the end of the tongues. They're like, ooh. There are species out there that don't take to these quite as readily. Okay, so as an experiment, what do you notice when you smell it?
It's rigs. Like, I smelt them instantly, and I don't have the greatest smell, but like, when you brought them over, I was just like, I could smell them instantly.
So they had plenty of scent. I, in using these, have had situations where anytime you give a snake a new prey item, sometimes they just take right to it and they recognize right away, oh, this is food. We gave we gave chicken eggs. My wife and I had chickens, so we had fresh, smelly eggs. And it took, 3 or 4 tries, but we had a bull snake that put it down.
They finally cornered it.
Yeah, but what do they tend to do? They kind of smell. They rub
He's
against
very intrigued
it.
with it.
And they're trying to figure out, what is this? Well, snakes have the same reaction to this. They'll rub against it, they'll smell it and smell it and smell it, and you can tell they know it's food. They know that they want to try it, but they're still not convinced because it doesn't look and feel like what they're used to. Okay, so we smelled it this way. The thing that I was going to say, though, like, I don't think this smells rotten or smells like
it just has a particular
guts.
Yeah, it has.
But it doesn't smell like a hamburger.
No,
Even
it
though
doesn't
it's
smell
beef.
great. It doesn't. It's different.
So if you have snakes that are a little reluctant in the beginning, one of the things you can do is you can just put a little slit in the casing.
So do you feed this casing?
Yes.
Just drop it in
You
like
feed
this?
Feed it as is. I have seen examples, though, of people whose snakes didn't like it with the casing. Oh, here's what I've noticed about the casing. So even a snake that gets really excited about it and bites, sometimes they'll drop it, and you can tell they're like, what is this? The mouth feel must be weird, compared to a rodent or a chick. And so sometimes they'll grab it, and right away they're like, whoa, that's not what I was expecting. That doesn't seem like food.
But when I see like a snake in the wild and they stroll up on a roadkill,
Yeah.
they'll kind of circle it and smell it and rub it, and they'll do the similar things.
Yeah.
Because they're tripping on it.
What some people do, though, is they will actually empty the contents just onto a paper plate, and the snakes will actually eat the ground product. So whatever it is about the casing they didn't like,
They like the insides.
They like what's inside. So I've cut this one open. It still doesn't look, you can see little bits of bone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of bone there if you can see it. So this is whole prey. So a little bit of most of the fur gone, lower intestine gone, a lot of the water weight gone. Okay, now let's smell it. It doesn't smell different, but it's stronger.
Ooh, yeah.
So
Smelling salts.
yes, so if you have a snake initially who's kind of unsure, if you just slit it, a lot of times it just intensifies the smell, and then they're all over it. They're like, okay, this definitely smells like food. But I still don't think this smells repulsive. Like, I don't think it smells like a dead animal.
It doesn't smell like a dead rat or whatever.
Right. And some of that, too, I think is because the feces and all the nasty stuff, they're not in here. This is all good stuff. But if you can see in there, you can see little bits of bone. You might be able to see little bits of fur. There's some fur sticking out. All right. You got a couple snakes in mind. You'd normally feed about a medium mouse, and let's see if we can get some to take it.
Yeah. This guy's been pretty aggressive. Let's see.
Hold on. Okay.
He doesn't know what to think about it. She usually will snag a mouse real quick.
There we go. All right, we're going to give a California King a try.
Oh, I fought him and he let go.
One snake seems interested, the other's not quite. But that's an experience that we would have introducing pretty much any.
If I do that with chicks,
Yeah.
they're cautious.
We're going to get the same result. And so the key is you got to keep trying. The key is you got to experiment just like you would with any other prey item. You can scent these with the mouse. In fact, if we want to try maybe scenting it with the Cal King, but you can scent these with the mice. I thaw them with the other prey so they take on some of that scent. So you'd use any of the other tricks, slitting them, you can use tricks just like you would with gopher.
And I'm sure like these guys would adjust.
Yes, and what I have had to do too, sometimes when I was first getting a snake to take, just like you would with any other snake, let it go hungry a couple weeks, and then scent, and then, go from there. So, we didn't get, quick, easy, down they go, but they all showed interest. They all, I think maybe one of the gopher snakes kind of acted like, what are you doing? What is this? But the rest of them at least showed interest, and that's what we want to show. But introducing new prey items is not always easy.
Right. Yep, it's very different for them.
All right. So like, subscribe, comment, tell us about your experiences feeding any new prey items, and let us know what questions you have about reptilinks. I can attest that once snakes eat them, that first time, it's like any other prey item. They come back for them, and they love them.
So these are Calico Beauty rats. They're fast. Obviously, they're long and fast. Luckily, they don't bite because the parents they'll open their mouth like this. But the babies have been great last year and this year. They haven't bit me, but they are a little flighty. So this is, let's have fun.
Gotta be quick.
Yeah.
And I'll be an extra set of hands.
See, look at this one. Now that looks like a normal to me. But I don't know how you get... I may need to talk to an expert. Like, why some of them look normal and some of them don't. But yeah, they've been really good to handle. They haven't been bitey at all.
That's good, particularly when you're trying to get them put away.
Some rat snakes are a little bitey, but so you can see these. See that orange blotching and stuff. It looks kind of like a paradox.
Yeah.
But that's the calico.
Oh, okay.
And this will it'll fade out and gain a lot of little oranges and stuff. So you can see their egg yolks. They're falling a little funny. But yeah, so there might be one more. Nope, I think we're good. Oh, there's one more.
One more.
One more right there. Hang on. There's his little nose.
Little tongue flick.
Little eyeball coming out.
Taking its time.
Okay, here we have our earliest hatchlings. These are pale milk snakes from Nebraska, Cherry County. Look how vibrant those guys are.
Looks like we've had some sheds.
And I love these, like, they have these waxy looking heads. They look waxy.
It's a great head stamp.
These are red milks from, this is Buchanan, Missouri locality. And they're nice. They're kind of average, but they're still pretty nice.
Almost looks yellow there on the neck.
This one might gain some orange. I can see some orange in that neck blotch. This one may.
Look at this little, he's got like a cancer awareness ribbon there on his side.
Let's see if any of these.
That one's ready for his 5K. He's already
This one's
got
a
the
little
ribbon.
darker, but look how tiny these guys are, like compared to fingers. Like,
yeah. Little shed and a poop. Some hogs.
a little snowconda.
Nice.
I mean, I don't dabble in hogs very much, but we do. But we actually do. But John really takes up that side of the work more than I do, and so.
No feistiness, no playing dead.
They do triangulate their heads on me a little bit, but they'll flatten out if you fuss with them a little bit. But they'll shed right after
Say
they.
that again.
Hogs are a little different than your other colubrids. Like, it's weird because, to me, it's weird. Like, but they shed right out of the egg.
Interesting.
So they'll shed they'll come out, and within a day they'll shed usually.
Wow.
I could be, there's experts out there, but
yeah.
from what I've noticed. And
That's your experience. Yeah, they're shedding faster.
Everything else is 7 to 10 days.
Everyone's been asking about house snakes.
So they shed now. Look at all that pattern. That's a nice one.
Oh, wow. So for those of you that saw our video last week where we gave you just some quick hits of these guys, they hadn't shed yet, and they looked very dark. In fact, I was almost wondering if some normals were starting to show up, even though I knew that wasn't likely. But they really lighten up after that shed. Great pattern on this one. I love those faces.
Yeah. This is a hypo red milk. Hasn't shed yet.
Still a little dull. Yeah, look how much brighter on the one that shed.
Yeah. Now both of these parents have, this is white, but but both parents have orange in the triad. So I kind of want to see how these color up. Here's a white-sided. Still hasn't shed.
First bull snake. Giving us a little pose. What do we have here?
These are bumblebees.
So these are the Kankakees and yellows.
Maybe. Wait, this isn't right. Oh. Yeah. These are gonna shed, and then they're gonna freaking brighten up.
All right, this is our wild caught Great Basin gopher girl that we've been doing some handling sessions, some confident grab. Let's give Jason a turn here.
And I haven't handled this really, so
No, let's see how it goes.
let's see if it attacks. I'm gonna go straight
Nothing.
This is my experience usually with gopher snakes. They just don't do anything.
Nothing. So I was telling everybody last week, she has progressed, really quickly like they always do. But in the field, when I collected her, I got bitten, I got musked.
Yeah.
And you can attest, musking from gophers is
awful.
It's awful, but it's not typical.
It sticks with you.
Yeah, but they're a little more likely to bite you than musk you.
Yeah.
Whereas some other species, you're almost always...
You have to really kind of
Yeah.
almost frighten a gopher snake or really like be aggressive like with it you're handling or to get them to musk. They don't really musk very often.
And it's kind of why I wondered if maybe she'd been hit by a car based on how and where I found her. And, you know, she was so defensive when I first got her that
she must have been, it might have been a hot day.
I thought maybe she got hit, but it was a little warm in the late morning. And but she has progressed really well. She's gone from biting when I pick her up or striking when I open the enclosure to just a hiss the last time I handled her. And this time, nothing. Did she raise her head at all?
No, I mean, she might have been shook up from the drive, but...
Yeah. But this is by
far
far the best she's done so far.
She's been good.
And to be honest, this is what I expect going forward.
Yeah.
I mean...
This is typical, right?
Yeah. She trusts now that we're safe. And she knows we don't mean her any harm. But look how beautiful. She's got some of that tiger stripe pattern from Gopher
This is a
Gulch.
nice looking animal, yeah.
Yeah.
I love this.
Hoping she was patternless when I first saw her, but I'll take the tiger stripe too.
Wow.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
If we can produce tiger stripes and patternless out of this project, that'll be two really cool morphs. So let's get a good shot of her back there. That's what we're talking about with the tiger stripes. It's just kind of those alternating stripes instead of the chain pattern we're all used to.
It's just a real and aberrant pattern.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Hopefully she'll start coloring up here nicely too. We guess she's probably a 2-year-old. Probably born a couple years ago. So good find, and she's taming up perfectly.